morning, good afternoon, good evening, good wherever it is, wherever you are. Welcome back to my living room. My name's Katie O, and this is Moon Mama Musings. This is an astrology peephole for the 3rd of August, 2021. We have a waning crescent moon in the sign of Gemini. And everything is crazy. We are T-minus, 5 days now? Or is it 6? 6 days. T-minus 6 days till the Lion's Gate, my friends. Big shit. Before we get started about today's transits, I want to just touch upon one of the transits from yesterday that got brought up to me again several times throughout the day, so I thought it was important to look back over this again. So this is Saturn making an opposition with the Sun. Now, apparently this is a yearly occurrence. It happens every year. And there we have it. They have this opposition. Opposition, we know, is a tug of war, right? It's the two energies opposing each other, pulling in opposite directions, and I mean, exerting a great force on one another and exerting force on the string that ties the two together. And if they keep pulling in opposite directions, the string is liable to snap, causing massive chaos. So this opposition is occurring so that they're being asked basically to collaborate, to come back into union, to come back into an understanding. And this is really interesting because when they kept bringing it up, they kind of pointed out to me that we could look at it in terms of the tarot, right? So there are 3 cards that I immediately thought of. First of all, if we're talking about Saturn itself, that's the Hierophant for me. And then for the Sun, there are 2 cards that come to mind. Obviously, the Sun itself, clearly. But also the Strength card, because the Sun is the planet that rules Leo, and we are currently in the sign of Leo, and well, I mean, pretty relevant right now because it's a very potent Leo season. Sorry, I probably should have got these out before I started, but oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, I wanted to show you the contrast between these cards. There's the Hierophant, and I want to find the Sun too. Where's the Sun? The Sun is usually an easy card to find. There it is. Okay, so if we look at the Hierophant in terms of Saturn, right, what does the Hierophant represent to us? What does he even look like, just visually? What does he look like? He looks like the Pope. The Pope represents institution, represents long-standing structure. The things that are like sitting on their throne in their robes with the all-knowing power that we revere in our lives, yeah? These can be represented as different things in our personal lives. This can be our religious or spiritual structures. This could be the way we see ourselves. It can be the way that we see others. It's the way we conduct ourselves with others. Either way, this is, it's very the big scary things that are, well, maybe not scary, but the potent, strong, long-standing things in our life. Yeah. Now, I was watching Queen Cup earlier, and she put it really well. She said, Saturn's wife is karma. Yeah, and that's why Saturn is often referred to as the planet of karma. And people that say that karma's a bitch, yeah, well, sometimes they get smacked down a little bit because karma doesn't like being called a bitch, and the Hierophant Saturn or the Hierophant doesn't like its own being talked badly about. But in any case, the Hierophant, the Saturn energy, all of that is very much calling. It's calling to us now. And it's calling to us to settle our debts. This energy, this Saturn opposite the Sun, is very much, and actually the energy that's happening right now is it's like the wildest horses need to be broken the hardest. There is huge karmic retribution coming around right now, and this is what that represents. This is what Saturn represents for us. All the karma all the seeds that we've planted. Well, they're starting to produce fruit now. What is the fruit that's coming out for us? So in opposition to the Sun, obviously we have the Strength card, which often to me does imply some form of ego. But the Strength card, again, recently was presented to me differently in that it's more of a courage card, which again can be translated as a positive representation of your ego. So maybe we're being called to look at things differently, again, with the Hierophant. Or with Saturn. is that we can look at this as a card that means strength and means something strong, means, you know, exactly what it says. This is the way that it's been presented for years and years, but now they're calling us to go, but what if we look at it in terms of what if we look at it from a different lens? What if we look at this now about courage? How is it they want us to get real with Saturn and to reap the karma of where it is that we found courage, or where we need to find courage, where we need to quiet our ego and stop thinking of it as this strong thing and start looking at it more of where can it serve us in order for us to be courageous, like the lion. And the sun is about happiness. So it also has to do with these structures in place about what makes us happy. Get real right now, guys. What is it that makes you happy? What is it that illuminates your day? What is it that makes your sunshine? What is it that changes things up? Now, these are not pulled cards, right? I just wanted to show you guys the contrast of it. But either way, I feel like there is very much this, there's the dichotomy happening with the way things can go, right? The karma's happening right now. Yeah, the karma's happening no matter what. And what's coming from it, it's not this big scary thing that we always think of karma as, is it's coming to punish us. No, it's just coming to give us the type of seed that we put in the ground yields. All right. So if you've put barley seeds in a field, don't expect to get wheat. So if you have been sowing a certain type of seed, you're going to be getting your enlightenment and your happiness. You're going to get new information coming to you. You're going to feel secure and steady and sure about stuff like that. The light is shining. The light is on. There's nothing in the dark anymore, right? We've dealt with our shadows. We've dealt with all of that horrible stuff. We've unloaded what we didn't need with this baby on the back of a horse naked, and we're ready to move forward. Now we're grounded, we're steady, we're ready, yeah? Or if there's a different type of seed that you've been sowing, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to they're not going to smite you, they're not going to strike you dead, but the thing is that whatever going to come to you is going to require your strength so that you can breed your courage. Because no man is meant to be left behind here. Nobody is being punished. No one's being struck down by the gods for having chosen wrong or whatever, because all that is relative anyway. It's all about our own personal journeys, yeah? And basically the thing is that once we go through this portal of 8-8, now that we have the Saturn-Sun opposition, which one do you want? Which one are you getting? What do you think is going to happen now? Do you think that you're in a place where you're going to start reaping your rewards, or do you think maybe that you're coming around to no more lessons? Either way, I think that there's probably an aspect of both for everybody, is that maybe in your femininity, you've expressed yourself really clearly and you've been really good and you're going to be reaping that happiness. But maybe in your masculinity, you've been a little bit out of balance, and maybe you need to balance that ego out and find the courage instead of the strength. I don't know. Whatever it may be, there is definitely this karmic retribution coming now. So my notes here, I just took a few notes about this that I wanted to bring up to you. It just says the courage to conquer the ego is coming into play right now. We have to admit where we've been pointing fingers, because it's easier to judge others rather than judge yourself. Maybe we encounter certain people for a reason. Yeah, maybe the people that we encounter that we keep on getting thrown to us are meant to act up a little bit and treat us poorly, so that we are going, oh man, that person did this to me. This is that person's problem. Oh my God, I see them so clearly. I see that they do this and they do that and they do this. Well, if ever you're doing that, remember that when you point a finger, 3 point back at you, right? Karma, Saturnian energy in a big way. Is that maybe people have been presented to us recently so that we are evaluating them, because that's what we do. Maybe we are sitting in our toxic masculine energy a little bit too much. Maybe we're being the misrepresentation of the Hierophant lately. Yeah? And maybe these people coming to us are there for the purpose of having us realize that, you know, we're really able to recognize this particular problem with this other person. And maybe the reason we're so able to recognize that problem is because we suffer from it too. So this can be a humbling. This can be the ego being checked and going, oh man, yeah, maybe I've been a little bit too fight or flight on a lot of this. Maybe I've been a little too reactionary. Maybe I need to look at things a little bit different. Hanged man perspective again. We have Gemini energy coming into play big time. Anyway, let's talk about the transit. Sorry, I had to talk your ears off for 9.5 minutes because of that, but it was really important. The Lionsgate energy that's coming up on the 8-8 it's just explosive. It's just bizarre. It's like the finest grade sand in that water filter, and nothing passes through that is not allowed to pass, that is not serving us on our journey forward past this Lion's Gate. Nothing. No exceptions. Not even the things that you want to ignore. Anyway, let's look at this. We have the sun and the moon in a sextile right now. So this is healing between the ego and the subconscious right now, and this is being brought on by this sun and Saturn opposition. We are understanding where we've been sitting too much in our toxic masculine, or too much in our toxic feminine, too much in overrepresented things. Maybe we're sitting too much in our shadow or too much in our light. Regardless, this is an energy of recognizing too much, yeah? As with regard to our particular circuit, if you found me, I think a lot of us have been sitting in our toxic masculinity, even if you consider yourself a biological female, whatever it may be. We've been sitting a little bit too much in our toxic giving energy. And we are being called right now to bring the feminine energy back into it. We need to sit in our receiving energy. We need to stop doing and wait for the universe to give us our gifts, because we've done beautiful work. Or if you might consider yourself perhaps part of the group that is maybe have planted the seeds in order to reap more lessons, well, maybe it may be the opposite. Maybe you've been sitting too much in your toxic femininity and you need to move towards your masculinity. And I mean, I think there's many different, like, all of you guys are very, very different, right? But I think you know which category you particularly sit in. Like, for example, if you feel the need to compete, if you feel the need to win, if you feel the need to have your opinion heard no matter what it makes people feel, you might be a little bit too much in your toxic masculinity. If you have the need to please, if you have the need to be taken care of, if you have the need to have a knight in shining armor come and wipe away all of your problems, you might be sitting a little bit too much in your toxic femininity. Either way, with this sextile between the sun and the moon, it's a call again to figure out where we sit in a place and how we can heal it. And it's by balancing, it's by going the other way. It's not going to the extreme, it's about bringing it back to the center, right? Maybe if you're sitting too much in your toxic masculinity, maybe you need to bring a little bit more of your light version of the femininity into it to bring it back to balance, or vice versa, whatever this means for you. Now, the next thing is we have a little bit of a party between our subconscious and our emotions, the communication, and the structure of things. So this is where Saturn comes back into play, and everything that I said before is now, keep that in mind when I'm saying all of this. So we have three aspects that I feel are very, very tightly connected. The moon is in a trine with Saturn. The moon is in a sextile with Mercury, and Mercury and Saturn are relatively in opposition. It's not perfect, but relatively in opposition. All right, it's not exactly, but we're going to go with it. All right. I was called to write down this, yeah, so we're going to go with it. Basically, the first one here, our moon trining Saturn. This is an expansion and growth of these new structures, which comes from the subconscious fully adapting the truth of this change. We know this is true. We know that this is, we're actually, sorry, let's expand on this first. So basically, this is the abandoning of the ghost limb. It's realizing that, yes, we have changed a lot of our Saturnian energy and we've gotten real about a lot of things. And this is coming into play in that we are finally absorbing it fully inside of us. We are fully absorbing it on a subconscious level. We've now been brainwashed. We have reprogrammed ourselves, basically. We've removed the old program that was basically full of malware, and we have installed in its place a new program which is much more healthy for us, and we are no longer experiencing, and there's no more bugs related to the old program's problems. The bugs are now gone, and this is a healing energy, but it expands us, right? How do we know that this is true? How do we know that, yes, this is indeed affecting me in a positive manner? Well, we know this is true because we feel different in the face of similar situations to old stuff. If you feel triggered by something, and it reminds you of a situation you've dealt with your father, with your ex, with your mother, with your sister, with whoever, and you deal with it in a different way, you feel differently about the situation, you're ready to look at it from a new way, you want to do things differently than you used to, you know that you are currently absorbing this through your subconscious. This new change is now being integrated into yourself. And you'll know, like I said, you'll know this because you're going to feel differently in the face of old situations. Okay, what else have we got? This moon sextiling Mercury is going to lead us to more readily communicate and intellectualize what we feel. Yeah? We have healed our emotional body because of all of this subconscious integration of these new structures, the new head of Saturn, the new karma, yeah? Or sorry, rather, the new body that we have now that we have cleared our karma, cleared it all out. How do we know this is true? How do we know we are truly being positively affected by this healing energy that this sextile between Mercury and the moon is happening? We know this is true because we are going to be able to express ourselves more easily with regards to our emotion, and we are going to be able to do so truthfully and honestly and authentically. We're not going to leave aspects out of how we feel because we're worried it's going to make somebody uncomfortable. We are going to tell them, look, this thing that you did make me feel this way, and I don't like it. Please do this instead. Yeah, it's going to be very, and some people are going to react badly. Some people are going to go, wow, I'm so glad you feel that way. And I'm so glad you expressed that because I was feeling the same way and I just didn't know how to bring it up. Yeah. All right. And then the last thing in this little guy is that the Mercury relative opposition to Saturn is quite interesting. This is also saying what we know, want, and need. Yeah, this opposition, right? These guys are pulling. They're pulling against each other. Again, it's a tug of war kind of feeling. But the only way to alleviate this is if they collaborate, if we now communicate in the new way, if we let go of the old timeline and we let go of the old head of Saturn, we don't leave it on the spike outside of the castle anymore. We throw it away, bury it, burn it. I don't care what you do with it. Put it in a backpack and bring it to the shit store and sell it. I don't care. Just whatever it is that old head represents, get rid of it. The new head is now in, and we now need to integrate that with the way that we intellectualize and communicate. Those new structures that we are making need to come forward in the way that we speak, in the way that we think, in the way that we have ideas. It's all about this integration now. And this can be with, you may need to lay very strong boundaries with this. Like I said, might not be well received by some people, but it's these filters. We have these filters that are getting finer and finer and finer as we approach this Lion's Gate, because like I said, you cannot bring anything unnecessary through this gate towards your future. You've got to trim the fat. Okay, now we have two more aspects that I feel are very, very closely entwined. We've got the moon making a square with Venus, and then Venus in a trine with Uranus. All right, moon making a square with Venus. This is our subconscious and emotional body reaching obstacles with regards to our Venus energy, with regards to abundance, relationships, and creativity, with regards to receiving energy, feminine energy, dark energy. Some of you guys might be going through a dark night of the soul that is really kicking your ass. Some of you may be experiencing, like I said, this toxic masculinity. You're sitting in this toxic masculinity or this toxic femininity, but you have there's something imbalanced in your feminine energy with Venus. Venus, obviously, the symbol of the woman. Quite simply, could very well be you are imbalanced in your feminine energy. Maybe you're a man that sees being feminine as weak. Or maybe you're a woman who has had so much shit shoveled into her mouth every time she sits in her femininity that she is literally PTSD. No, I don't want to sit in my divine feminine and receive anymore because every time I receive, it kicks me in the face. Whatever this may be for you, it is a struggle. Many of us are struggling to embody our divine feminine. Many of us are struggling accepting abundance from the universe or from other people, whether that be love, whether that be money, whether that be energy, whatever it is. We are struggling with the receiving energy. And maybe we're going, why in the hell haven't I got these gifts that Katie keeps on talking about? It's because you're beating them off with a stick by fighting off your feminine energy. You must sit in your feminine energy in order to receive. That's just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, my friends. I'm sorry, that's it. If you want gifts, you have to be able to receive them. That's like saying, hey, send me a letter, and someone goes, well, what's your address? And then you just say, you never get back to them, or you never send them an address, or you don't have an address. Like, how can I send you something if I don't know where to address it to? Yeah, this is what this idea is. If you don't sit in your femininity, you have no address. And I mean, yeah, that could work for some of you where you are right now in your healing. But a lot of you guys are going, universe, I'm ready. Where is it? But you're sitting there in your toxic masculine. And there's no room to bring it in when you can't receive. All right. I know that. By the way, guilty is charged right here. Not pointing fingers. Guilty is charged. Either way. But then again, some of you guys could also just not be seeing femininity clearly, right? You could be you could be getting very caught up in the vernacular of the word feminine. Yeah. It has nothing to do with gender. It has very much to do with the receiving energy. Think of it in terms of a plug and a socket. Yeah. Some people call this bit, sorry, where is it? Okay. Some people call this bit the male end, yeah? And the socket is the female end. This is not a boy. It's just the bit that gives to the other one, yeah? So some of you guys have to get over the words of things. Yeah, okay, I understand. I hear you. There's a reason they call it spelling, because words are spells. Yeah, okay, my witches, but girls and boys, really, don't get caught up on the freaking semantics of all of this. And I think this is where this next energy comes into play, is that to kick us out of that energy of getting caught on the little details, Venus is making a trine with Uranus. Uranus is the tower. It is the planet of unexpected change. It is everything fucking falls down around us because it's just not working, because it's been built on unsolid, on weak foundations. So it needs to come crashing down. And a trine is an expansive energy. So whatever it is that's happening to you right now, whatever feels like it's falling down on your head and you don't know what the fuck is going on, excuse my language, this stuff is expanding your femininity. It's expanding what you think about in terms of abundance, relationships, and creativity, or the literal feminine of you, or whatever it may mean for you. Venusian energy. If you want to take it as simple as the symbol for woman, whatever it means for you. It's expanding the point of view of the feminine, though. We absolutely have to do this. The only way through this portal is if we stop getting so stuck on these little details that nothing ever passes through. You know, like the Hierophant can be sometimes considered a judge, right? Like in olden days, if there was no one really to make authoritative decisions about like stuff like that, it would often fall on clergy members or people of spiritual standing, right? To pass judgment on people who had done wrong. It's the same vibes. It's the exact same vibes. It's all the same shit. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get a card for you guys. And they wanted me to pull out my bag of tricks. I've not done it yet on YouTube. So I'm going to pull one card from the Threads of Fate Oracle deck. And then I'm going to pull I'm going to pull 3 from the bag of tricks. Sorry, just one, please. Let's just narrow it down here. They're giving a shout out to yesterday's energy. Sacred Sexuality, that was from yesterday's Instagram. If you've not checked that out, go over and check me out. Moon Mama Musings, blah, on Instagram. I do lives with every moon transit. I will be back over there on the 5th for the transit through Cancer. There we go. Share wisdom. Communicating. All of that stuff with Mercury. It's all about communication, guys. They want us to break out and to speak our truths and to start integrating these truths with this new way of being and this new timeline that we've jumped into. Okay, so share wisdom. Look at this card. It's gorgeous. There's like this fern with its beautiful, is it a fern? It's a tree of some sorts. I don't know. Some sort of a plant with a very intricate root structure sitting in the energy of, I mean, it's not quite a moon. I guess this would be a crescent moon. I guess this is where we are right now. I mean, we are in a waning crescent at the moment, aren't we? So yeah, I mean, kind of I feel like the depiction of this moon is really important because it's a waning crescent, right? But they're still emphasizing the wholeness of the circle, right? Some crescent moons are often depicted as just the crescent, right? But this one actually still emphasizes the wholeness. So there's a cycle that's still coming around here. Share wisdom. Maybe what I'm getting from this is that maybe you've got wisdom about, maybe you've been through this stuff before and they want you to share your experience with this kind of stuff so that other people can learn that they've also learned from their mistakes and can claim their own successes with regards to the old challenges. Remember we talked about kind of the idea of, I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, share wisdom. I'm going to read it from the book. This card is about the wisdom of experience. Our most potent medicine is born of the trials we have endured. It's easy to underestimate all that we know and all that we have learned. But we each have a unique perspective and offering to this world. Our wisdom evolves with us. Right now, you're being asked to speak more loudly about what you do know. Do not worry about what you don't know or whether you think you're qualified enough. It's time to put voice to all that you've experienced. Yes. The animal associated with this is the badger. Badger is known for being strong, powerful, and an incredible digger and a ferocious fighter. They live underground by burrowing complex tunnels and typically come out to forage and hunt, which is why they're perfect ally for sharing our wisdom. Our greatest wisdom comes from the experience that leave a deep imprint within us. These experiences that lead us to burrow deep down into our underworld, or those that call for our fierceness and ask us to rise to the occasion. It's always when life feels much bigger than we can manage, and yet we dig deep and find our strength and power, and we fight like the badger. Fighting for our truths, standing up for ourselves, all of this is gorgeous energy. Osha is a plant that it's representative of. Osha is known for its wild spirit and stubbornness. It roots itself in dark, rich soil in the mountains where it thrives. Osha often refuses to be cultivated, preferring to maintain its home in the hills. It knows its medicine is best exactly as it is. Remember, stop acting, friends. We have to sit back and receive now. Osha encourages you to treat yourself in the story the same. Do not think you must change yourself in order to be respected as a wisdom keeper. What is in you is enough. Call on Osha when you feel like you need to be more, and embrace yourself and truth exactly as it is. And the last one is lapis lazuli, is the stone for this one. Lapis is an ally of initiation to our own medicine. When looking at the stone, it's striking how similar it looks to the galaxy, the deep blue with flecks of gold and swirls of white. It can serve as potential to accessing our own soul records and the wisdom you have accumulated throughout your lifetimes. You can call on lapis to remember your ancient wisdom and bring to a space of embodiment and teaching. Yeah. So the truth that you are living is very much rooted in far greater than you. It's from other lifetimes. It's from other eras, from other galaxies. I don't know. You may be a starseed. You might associate with that. Either way, there is this ancient wisdom that you are being called upon to bring you back to your wholeness. Yeah. And it may require you to dive deep first, and then it may require you to fight for what you've dove deep for. But in the end, it's all about your healing, right? This is about coming into our own capacity to heal ourselves, and it's crucial to sit back and allow it to come to us, allow our gifts to come to us in that way. All right, we have beware, praise, and pull together. Okay. So praise and pull together. I think it has to be more like this. Okay, so there is going to be, okay, maybe beware, lion, Leo energy. We're in Leo right now. We have a new moon. So I feel like you guys are fighting off this energy here. You're having a hard time accepting praise from people, accepting love from people. Maybe you're having a hard time accepting the cup. And you're having very much a hard time getting stuff together. You feel like you're having a hard time getting your shit together, as I mentioned earlier before, getting your stuff in the backpack and bringing it to the shit store and selling it. But the thing is that, like, you've heeded the warning at this point. You've had the warning to get your shit together, right? And you're doing it. So they're praising you. You are still resisting that praise, and you're still kind of going, I don't know if I can trust these gifts, and I don't know, I'm so used to being beaten up and smacked like an unwanted dog, that yes, I'm going to recoil a little bit. But they're saying and no, it feels weird, but just keep on going. You're doing a beautiful job. Fill your own cup first. Keep filling your own cup. Keep being your own ace of cups, and then that allows us to bring another. It turns you into the giant magnet and sucks in another ace of cups to come right to you so that you can alchemize. It's beautiful. Anyway, my dears, I will be back here tomorrow on YouTube, hopefully. Yeah, that's it. That's all. I'm sorry for anything you're going through if I've made you feel a certain way. Thank you for being a wonderful, amazing human being, and lending your energy to the circuit. I love you to the moon and the stars and the sun and the infinity and beyond and all that wonderful stuff, and back. And then maybe back and back again. And I accept this, and I hope you do too. But if not, that's totally cool. We'll catch you next time. Bye.